Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the United States, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this third episode of Most Haunted Places in Each U.S. State, we delve deeper into the shadows cast by ghostly legends, uncovering tales so spine-tingling they'll leave you questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. From abandoned asylums to centuries-old battlefields, America is a treasure trove of spectral stories rooted in tragedy, betrayal, and unrelenting sorrow. Every state in the Union has its own haunted hotspot, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. These sites bear witness to events that continue to reverberate through time: Civil War skirmishes, frontier feuds, unsolved murders, and the lingering presence of those who refuse to move on. Each location holds its own dark secrets, whispered through creaking floorboards, flickering lights, and disembodied voices that drift through empty halls. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales across multiple states, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of haunted hotels, explore eerie mansions cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned institutions teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of America, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Stanley Hotel, Colorado. A grandeur haunted by ghosts nestled in the picturesque town of Estes Park, Colorado, the Stanley Hotel stands as an architectural marvel, a grand neoclassical structure perched against the backdrop of the Rocky Mountains. Opened in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, the hotel quickly became a symbol of luxury and refinement, attracting affluent travelers and celebrities alike. Its sweeping verandas, crystal chandeliers, and meticulously manicured gardens exude timeless elegance. Yet beneath its polished exterior lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, unexplained phenomena, and the enduring presence of those who refuse to leave. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Stanley Hotel revolves around Room 217, said to be haunted by the spirit of Elizabeth Wilson, a former housekeeper. According to local lore, Elizabeth was working late one night in 1911 when a gas explosion rocked the room, trapping her under debris. Miraculously, she survived but sustained severe injuries. Today, guests staying in room 217 frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of lavender lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets neatly folded at the foot of the bed, as though Elizabeth were tidying up after them. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be none other than Stephen King, whose iconic novel The Shining was inspired by his stay at the Stanley. While King himself is very much alive, the eerie atmosphere of the hotel left such a profound impression on him that he immortalized it in fiction. Visitors recount sightings of ghostly children playing hide-and-seek in the hallways, giggling softly before vanishing without a trace. Others describe hearing the faint strains of piano music drifting from the ballroom, even though no one is seated at the keys. Many believe these manifestations are echoes of the Overlook Hotel, the fictional setting of The Shining, come to life within the walls of the Stanley. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Some claim to see shadowy figures dragging invisible loads, their movements jerky and unnatural. A particularly chilling account comes from a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Overnight visitors to the Stanley Hotel frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slammed shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite the hotel's strict no-smoking policy. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty miner's outfit standing at the foot of her bed, his hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Stanley Hotel remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Elizabeth, the ghostly children, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the darkness that lingers within these walls, or will they become another chapter in the hotel's tragic tale. The Myrtles Plantation, Louisiana. Shadows of Southern Gothic horror. Deep in the heart of St. Francisville, Louisiana, shrouded by Spanish moss-draped oaks and suffocating humidity, lies the Myrtles Plantation. A sprawling antebellum estate whose beauty belies a harrowing past steeped in slavery, murder, and vengeful spirits unwilling to fade into obscurity. Built in 1796, the plantation thrived on the forced labor of enslaved Africans, whose blood, sweat, and tears fueled its prosperity. Today, the Myrtle stands as a grim reminder of America's darkest chapter, its haunted halls echoing with the cries of those who suffered unimaginable horrors within its walls. One of the most pervasive legends tied to the Myrtles Plantation centers around Chloe, an enslaved woman who served as a housemaid. According to folklore, Chloe eavesdropped on private conversations among the plantation's owners and was caught doing so. As punishment, one of her ears was cut off, leaving her permanently disfigured. Consumed by bitterness and resentment, Chloe allegedly baked a poisoned cake intended for the family but inadvertently killed 2 young daughters instead. When discovered, she was hanged from a tree near the house. Visitors report seeing a woman in period clothing lurking near the kitchen, her face obscured by her hair, believed to be Chloe seeking redemption. Another haunting figure associated with the Myrtles is believed to be William Drew Winter, the plantation owner during the mid-19th century. Historical records indicate that Winter was shot and killed on the front porch steps following a heated argument. Witnesses claimed to hear the distinct sound of footsteps descending the staircase, followed by a deafening gunshot, as though reliving the moment of his death. Others described seeing a man in formal attire pacing anxiously near the entrance, clutching his side before dissolving into mist. The plantation's grounds, once cultivated by enslaved laborers, remain a focal point of paranormal activity. Visitors walking through the overgrown acres often feel an inexplicable sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out in languages unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the dialects spoken by those who toiled under the scorching sun. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in tattered clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, working tirelessly even in death. Paranormal investigators exploring the Myrtles Plantation have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the slave quarters and the main house's kitchen. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of the chained room, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the plantation's reputation as one of Louisiana's most active haunted sites. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, the Myrtles Plantation continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the atrocities committed in pursuit of wealth and power. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Myrtles offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. The Lizzie Borden House, Massachusetts. Echoes of infamy perched atop a hill overlooking Fall River, Massachusetts. the Lizzie Borden house stands as a solemn sentinel of infamy, a stark reminder of one of America's most notorious unsolved murders. On August 4, 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were brutally hacked to death with an axe inside their home, sparking widespread speculation and finger-pointing that ultimately led to Lizzie Borden's arrest and trial. Though acquitted due to lack of evidence, public opinion remained divided, fueling decades of debate over her guilt or innocence. Today, the house operates as a bed and breakfast, inviting brave souls to spend the night amidst the lingering presence of unresolved justice. One of the most persistent legends tied to the Lizzie Borden house involves the ghost of Andrew Borden himself. Guests staying in his bedroom report hearing faint thuds against the wall, reminiscent of the brutal blows he endured. Others describe seeing a man in a blood-soaked shirt lying motionless on the bed before vanishing without explanation. Similarly, Abby Borden's spirit is said to haunt the upstairs guest room where she was found dead. Visitors recount feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they enter, accompanied by the smell of fresh paint, a nod to efforts made post-murder to cover up evidence. Lizzie's presence is equally palpable throughout the house. Many believe her spirit lingers due to unfinished business, unable to part ways with the scene of her alleged crime. Guests report seeing a young woman dressed in Victorian-era clothing wandering aimlessly through the halls, her expression frozen in eternal anguish. Others describe hearing soft humming emanating from empty rooms, believed to be Lizzie attempting to distract herself during the fateful morning. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as she drifts by, while others report hearing disembodied whispers pleading, "I didn't do it." The house's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a janitor who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the house's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Modern-day investigations into the Lizzie Borden house's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the third-floor hallway and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original occupants. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Help me," and "Don't let go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Lizzie Borden house remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its infamous history and rich architecture make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely exploration. For those brave enough to venture onto the property after dark, the promise of encountering Andrew, Abby, or Lizzie adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the iron planks, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the Bridges macabre legacy? The Winchester Mystery House, California. Architectural madness. In the heart of San Jose, California, stands the Winchester Mystery House, a sprawling Victorian mansion that defies logic and reason. Built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearms magnate William Wirt Winchester, the house began construction in 1884 and continued uninterrupted for 38 years until Sarah's death in 1922. Believing herself cursed by the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles, Sarah embarked on a relentless building spree, adding rooms, staircases, and features without rhyme or reason in an attempt to confuse and appease the vengeful ghosts. The result is a labyrinthine structure filled with bizarre architectural quirks, and rumored to be haunted by the very spirits Sarah sought to evade. One of the most striking features of the Winchester Mystery House is its sheer randomness. Staircases lead to nowhere, doors open onto brick walls, and windows look out onto other rooms. These eccentricities have fueled speculation that Sarah designed the house as a perpetual puzzle to thwart malevolent entities. Visitors often report feeling disoriented and uneasy as they navigate its maze-like corridors, describing sudden drops in temperature and the sensation of being watched. Some claim to see shadowy figures darting across their path, disappearing when pursued. Among the most prominent ghostly residents is believed to be Sarah Winchester herself. Many visitors recount sightings of a pale woman in a black dress wandering the halls, her expression somber and distant. Others describe hearing faint sobbing emanating from vacant rooms, accompanied by the soft rustle of fabric. Some speculate that Sarah continues to roam the house, tormented by guilt over her family's role in manufacturing weapons of war. The house's seance room, located deep within its bowels, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a janitor who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the house's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Paranormal investigators exploring the Winchester Mystery House have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the seance room and the main house's kitchen. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of the chained room, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the house's reputation as one of California's most active haunted sites. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, the Winchester Mystery House continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the atrocities committed in pursuit of wealth and power. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Winchester Mystery House offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Profile Quen 2.5 Max 2:26 p.m. The sinister allure of America's most haunted places. Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the United States, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this third episode of Most Haunted Places in Each U.S. State, we delve deeper into the shadows cast by ghostly legends, uncovering tales so spine-tingling they'll leave you questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. From abandoned asylums to centuries-old battlefields, America is a treasure trove of spectral stories rooted in tragedy, betrayal, and unrelenting sorrow. Every state in the Union has its own haunted hotspot, a place where the past refuses to stay buried. These sites bear witness to events that continue to reverberate through time: Civil War skirmishes, frontier feuds, unsolved murders, and the lingering presence of those who refuse to move on. Each location holds its own dark secrets, whispered through creaking floorboards, flickering lights, and disembodied voices that drift through empty halls. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales across multiple states, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of haunted hotels, explore eerie mansions cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned institutions teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of America, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Stanley Hotel, Colorado. A grandeur haunted by ghosts nestled in the picturesque town of Estes Park, Colorado, the Stanley Hotel stands as an architectural marvel, a grand neoclassical structure perched against the backdrop of the Rocky Mountains. Opened in 1909 by freelance Oscar Stanley. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted places captivate us? What is it about haunted places that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears: the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through America's most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of America's haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.